Once again, thank you very much for joining us. Now on to some news that could leave a sour taste in your mouth. The salted tilapia, locally known as Koobi, enjoyed by so many Ghanaians, often with boiled green plantain or ampesie, could be a source of cancer. That is according to Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng. He explains a chemical called formalin, which is used to preserve dead bodies, is used to process the local delicacy. Earlier on the pause, Maria Lovelace Johnson, who is the head of Food Safety Management at the Food and Drugs Authority, told my colleague Gifty Andoapea the FDA has started conducting tests to ascertain the presence of formalin in Koobi.
At the moment, there are people from the Food and Drugs Authority in various markets. They are at La Paz market, Makola, Dansoman, in fact, all the markets you can think of. Okay. We are there buying you won't know whether we are from FDA or not. Okay. We just buy into Koobi, and then we're taking them to the lab, to the laboratory. As scientists, the only way we can say that yes, they are there or not is to do the test in the laboratory, and it can be done easily. So we're going to do that, and by the end of the week, the lab results will be out, and we'll let you know.
What's the process? The lab test that you're talking about. Usually, what's the process, and how long does it take?
Oh, it's going to take. It won't take that long. By the end of the week, you should have the. We'll just test for formaldehyde. You know that formalin. That's formalin. Basically formaldehyde. And you know, formalin itself has such a very pungent smell. If you've actually passed in front of a hospital that has a mortuary before, in fact, when you're just passing by the mortuary, you can even smell it. But that's notwithstanding, we're still doing the test, because as to whether it is in or not has to be verified by a test.
Okay. And once you find that, what are you going to do? If there is,
we're going to bring those who are in that business to book. We're going to straight away ban the sale of it, just to ensure that people are safe. I mean, that's the number one thing, just to ban the sale of it. And then we get on to bring the people to book and do more public education to stop the people from doing it, if and only if it is true.
Up until November 2016, fecal waste was disposed into the sea without treatment, leading to pollution. This changed with the commissioning of the Lavender Hill Fecal Treatment Plant, which ensures that such waste is treated before disposal into the water. The facility has today been opened to media men for inspection. Joining us is Joseph Akuble is there and joins us live. Hello, Joseph. What more can you tell us?
Yeah, Beatrice, so like you rightly pointed out, prior to this facility being set up, the practice then was that for the waste that is generated in various homes as well as various companies, among others, they were just disposed over into the sea without it being treated. But that has changed a bit with this facility that has been set up. I will spare you the details and cross over to the engineer, Florence Cobold. I hope I got the name right. She is the general manager for the plant. She's just standing right here. They've been taking us to the various facilities here at the plant, and she'll be explaining exactly what they do here. Madam, thank you for joining us on Joy News.
Welcome.
First and foremost, for those who may not be familiar with what exactly a fecal treatment plant is, what do you do?
And this fecal treatment plant, what it does is it receives fecal matter from the cesspit MTS, the trucks that come to our homes to pump out the sewage from our septic tanks. Yes, so they bring it here and then it is treated, and that kind of sludge is called fecal matter. We have a difference. You know, there's sewage and then there's fecal matter. Because this one, from the ones from our septic tanks, there has been some form of treatment already. A septic tank system is also a form of on-site treatment. So the effluent comes on top, the water we use to flush, and then the fecal matter is what settles down. So that's what the trucks come to dislodge from our homes, and they bring it here. And currently, like you rightly said, they go directly into the sea to offload into the sea. But what we are doing here is we receive that fecal matter, and it's going to go through a form of treatment processes. Currently, we are still in the commissioning stage or test trying stage. So we are just doing one section of the plant, that is the dewatering section. So we receive the trucks, they dislodge into the offloading bay and or offloading trough, and then it goes through by gravity through screens. And for your information, our fecal matter, there are a lot of things in our fecal matter. You can get a pair of jeans, condoms, pads.
So it means all those items, people, when they are flushing the toilet in their homes, they put them in it and flush it.
And a lot come from the public toilets. You know, the trucks, a lot of them come from the public toilets. So I think most of those things are from the public toilets. So they come in, we have to remove all those things because they will clog the pumps. So we have screens to remove all those foreign matter we don't need, and then from those screens it goes we call that the core screen. From the core screen it goes through the integrated machines where we remove the very small materials, grates, we call that grates. That is materials less than 6 millimeters. So when you see it, it's like sand. So we remove all that before the system will flow into a regulating tank. And then from the regulating tank, it is pumped back to the dewatering machines. We have screw presses where we add a polymer or a coagulant just to get the solids together and the liquids separated. So that will mix, the coagulant will mix with the raw sewage, and then there's coagulation. The solids or the raw sludge, that's what we call it, it's removed and currently it is sent to drying beds for drying, and then the effluent goes back into the regulating tank. And for now, the whole process is a biological process. So we need a biological process. You can't just put the thing in and then it's treating. We have to grow the microorganisms that would feed on the raw sewage that will come, and that process is yet to go on. We are now trying to get grow the microorganisms, so we are not at that stage yet. So currently we are just doing dewatering, and the dewatering that we are doing, if you test, we have a lab, you saw it, and we test the COD, that's the chemical oxygen demand of the raw sewage. That is a measure of what do you call it? It's not bacteria. That's a measure of how contaminated the sewage is. So we test the COD of the raw sewage or fecal matter as it comes, and that is the highest we have gotten so far. Is about 22,000 milligrams per liter. And after dewatering, we have tested also, and we have between 4,500 and 5,000. So we are removing about 80% COD, which I think for now. So after we do that, the dewatering, we pump into the sea for now. Okay. But that is not the end of it.
But for those who hear lots about fecal matter, the often thought that comes to mind is the issue of biogas. Is one thing that came up all throughout our education. Anytime fecal matter, we hear about the possibility of biogas. Is that taking place here?
Yes, it will take place. Like I told you, from the dewatering stage, the effluent will now come into the USB, where we are standing now, USB, upflow anaerobic sludge blanket. That is where the treatment itself, that is what we are charging now. I told you it's a biological process. So that is where the gas will be generated on top of this tanks you see here. So the gas that will be generated, if you turn to this side, you see these cylindrical machines. The gas will be tapped and it will be cleaned, purified. You know, the gas is not just methane. We have methane, hydrogen sulfide, and then carbon dioxide. And it's just the methane we need for the gas we need to be able to generate electricity. So it is cleaned here, and then there are two generators here that will use the gas to generate electricity. But because the process is not, we haven't started the process here, we haven't started the gas generation yet.
Just the last bit, just to enable our viewers understand how much waste in terms of what we generate into the water you are saving the nation. Roughly how many trucks do you receive per day?
The highest we have received so far is about 232.
In a single day?
In a single day. The capacity of the plant is about 2,000 meter cubed per day. And if you translate that to trucks, it's about over 200. Because each truck is roughly 10, most of the trucks 10 cubic. But there are some that are 5, 7. So about the 2,000 will translate to about 250 trucks in a day. That's the capacity of the plant.
Thank you very much. So you heard the engineer Florence Cobord explaining what takes place here at this facility that we've been touring. We've been visiting different parts of the facility. We've had a look at the place now, and that is the situation here. But the point she made and the fact that it's very very exciting for me is that, I mean, we have trucks as many as 230 is what they receive per day, and proud to this facility being set up, all that waste would have been deposited right ahead into the sea without any form of treatment. But that is the quantity of waste they are saving the entire nation to ensure that the water bodies is clean for us. The most exciting bit is the fact that a possibility of biogas generation, which she says will take place eventually. So if you are watching and you are seeing me, Beatrice, in this attire, it's not strange. It's because we are touring the facility. That is why we are right here. So this is the situation here. Over to you, Beatrice.
Indeed, thank you very much, Joseph Akoble. Now, for the past few weeks, many Ghanaians have had to endure intermittent power supply. There have been many suggestions as to what may be causing the current challenges in power supply. Some say they believe the dark days of Dumso have returned. But in the midst of this is one of the generators of electricity, the Water River Authority, or VRA. Let's find out what really is the problem. I'm joined on the phone now by the Public Relations Officer of the VRA, Gertrude Kumsin. Thanks for joining us, madam, and good morning to you. Hello, Madam Gertrude Kumsin. All right, so we'll get back to Gertrude Kumsin, who is the Public Relations Officer of the Water River Authority, to tell us exactly what the problem is and also to give us some insight into production as well. But I also do know that the Petroleum Ministry has issued a statement on this. My colleague Hannah Dami joins me in the studio with details of that. Hannah, what does the statement say?
Well, Beatrice, just as you read earlier, the intermittent power supply probably has come back. And so a lot of people in the capital and even some parts of the country are experiencing what we call Dumso. Now, the Petroleum Ministry is saying that all this is as a result of commissioning, what they call commissioning and connection of the gas supply system from the 10 oil fields to the Boase to Atwabo processing plants. Now, this was supposed to have been completed way back as February 20th, but it was extended to February 26th because the commissioning and the maintenance was not done. Now, this also commissioning at the 10 oil fields to Atwabo processing plants also affected the Ameri energy plants, which is 230 megawatts. So obviously, it will definitely bring in some intermittent power supply. Now, this is what also happened. Remember the Takrade thermal power plant, TAPCO, which is 330 megawatts, was affected. 2/3 of the capacity of the Takrade International Power Plant, TICO, which is 220 megawatts, was also affected. Now, these are the power generating points, and they were all affected in terms of the commissioning and maintenance. That's how come some people were experiencing that. Now, this this statement is suggesting
all right,
that...
Hannah, sorry to butt in. Hold on, let's speak to the VRA. So you've given us just a brief of what the Petroleum Ministry is saying. Let's find out from the point of view of the VRA. Good morning to you, Madam Gertrude Kumsin. Thanks for joining us on News Desk.
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers, right?
Yes, thank you for joining us. Yes, so I was saying earlier that the country, some Ghanaians have been experiencing intermittent power supply. From the point of the VRA, what is the problem?
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Some have attributed it to our previous announcement that the gas will not be flowing to the Abuaze station and then Ameri. But that project ended as promised, you know, as of February 2026, right? February 26, they finished the work, and then power started flowing from Ameri, and then one unit at T2. What we are experiencing and the explanation that we have from the sector is that due to the rainstorm, some of the lines have been brought down, and UCG have had to restore them, and it has to be done systematically. So some have had their lights restored, others are yet to come on, and they've promised that they are working assiduously to ensure that power is restored throughout the country.
Well, of course, the rainstorm in Accra happened on Sunday, and before that too, people were experiencing the outages already. So what really is the problem?
Well, you know, the lines are connected. There is a connection that we have, transmission and distribution. if something happens in the central region, it is possible that it will affect the lines elsewhere. So sometimes you see an outage and you may not even know where it's coming from. And you know, the storm didn't happen in a day throughout the country. It happened, in various locations at various times. So this is the explanation we have from both GRICO and ECD. And you can even refer to the minister's press release yesterday. And I think you can find it online.
Do we know how far they've gone with repairing these damages, as you call them?
I believe ECG will be able to give you the details, but most parts have light now. My light also went off, but I had it since Sunday. So I believe that those who don't have light should just call their service line, their service center, right? The call center or service center, and then they will give them an update. But I don't know the percentage from where I'm sitting.
All right, so let's stay with your office, the VRA. What is the current production capacity?
With VRA right now, with Ameri back, we have about 1,400, and that is what we are managing with now.
And is this really the level we are supposed to be producing instead of? No,
we should be doing almost 2,000 and over. But if you go to Abuaze as we speak, C1, which is the TAPCO plant, which is 330 megawatts, has been shut down for maintenance work, and this is warranty that the manufacturer will have to come down and work on it. As we speak, the manufacturer is here and they started working on it. One unit will be back by the end of March. We are expecting the second to be back in the third quarter.
So you're saying that we are supposed to be producing over 2,000, but right now we are producing just a little over 1,000. Apart from
that's the installed capacity. The demand is around 1,900. We also need the reserve, so we have installed capacity of over 2,000. But as we speak, we have to take down some of the units for maintenance.
Okay, so you're blaming this on the fact that you've had to take some of the units down?
I'm not blaming it. It's a periodic planned maintenance, so we knew it will come on. But since that Mary is back, and then the ministry and the government has also been to Côte d'Ivoire to negotiate further increase in what they are supplying us. And the good news is that they've agreed to increase our request to about 200 megawatts and over. And we believe that this can show the current situation.
And this agreement you talk about, how soon is it expected to take effect?
Immediate. I mean, this thing is not new. We've been depending on them for a while now. But then with the new negotiations that are taking place, we expect that it will go up. This exchange program that we have with them, sometimes we give them and they give us. But now, because of our situation, we have to depend on them more. And, once it's government collaboration, they have also promised that they are going to support us during this period.
How much do you think the VRA's inability to produce to capacity affecting the current intermittent power supply?
Affecting what, power supply?
Yes, the current challenges with power supply.
Well, VRA is a major producer and supplier of power in Ghana. And with Akosombo giving us almost 50% of the requirement, we are happy that Akosombo is running all 6 turbines because the water level is good. And then at Abuaze, the only problem is the maintenance, which is, it's planned. And so the Ameri is there, car power, I believe, is also giving us power. And then when you go to the Tema enclave, with addition of the 200 megawatts at home, and then we have Senate supporting, we also have our TT 1PP also giving us over 100 megawatts. Together, we think that the situation with Côte d'Ivoire supporting will be able to carry us through until Abuaze comes back fully. What we are not expecting is the doomsday that we all fear. And so with this, we believe that we'll be able to handle the situation, barring any unforeseen system disturbance from any of the three utilities.
So what is your forecast based on what you're saying, that the situation is going to improve?
Oh, it is going to improve, and it has improved since yesterday. If anybody has any outage, please call UCG, your service provider, and I believe that they'll be able to give you details. But then I know they always announce their planned, outages. But in case there's a storm in an area or there's a situation that needs immediate, attention, then please call the service provider, UCG.
Okay.
But we can assure you that with this level of generation and with the complementation from Côte d'Ivoire, we'll be able to sustain power, and then it will be reliable. And then we are not envisaging doing so. It should not be part of our expectation now.
Okay, so let's come again to the VRA. You're talking about we're producing a little over 1,000 megawatts of power. How much is it costing us to produce at our current capacity?
Oh, costing us is very relative to what fuel we are using at any point in time. And I can't give you any figure now. Why? Because at any point in time, if we are depending on crude oil, the tariff is different, and then gas is also different, and even at thermal and coal, there are times that we have to use diesel, distillate fuel. That's how we call it, distillate fuel. So, if you ask me how much it's costing, I don't think it is something that I can tell you offhand.
Okay, apart from the maintenance you talk about, we've also heard that VRA needed some money to buy crude, but there was no money. Is that the case?
As for money matters, it is very deep. Why? Because we owe a lot. We have our legacy debt, which is also not helping in our ability to access, the bank facilities, establishing LCO and so on. But, the Ministry of Finance and our sector ministry and, the government is also trying to see how the rescheduled debt can be, managed. Let me use the word money. And so we have had discussions with so many partners and then financiers, both local and, even the Côte d'Ivoire situation. We have to, discuss and renegotiate because we owe them too. So as for the money and the debt, we cannot run away from it. But the good news is that your ability to reschedule or manage the debt is also a credibility that will also make you credit worthy.
Thank you very much. We'll end it here. Gertrude Kumsin, she is the Public Relations Officer of the Water Authority. Let's move on to the north now. In fears of a possible reprisal attack following recent disturbances in the northern region town of Bimbilla after there were some issues there yesterday. And we also do know that the recent clashes there resulted in 11 deaths, and it compelled school authorities to close down schools on Monday. Shop owners also shut down their shops early to return home. A dusk to dawn curfew is already in effect in the town following the recent clash over then enscarement of a sub-chief. Joining us for a live update, with a live update on the situation is Joy News' Northern Region correspondent. All right, so we have a journalist in the community, Prince. He joins us live on the line. Hello, Prince. What can you tell us about the situation now?
Well, hello, good morning. And like the question that you asked, currently, I had a call from your city that was in the morning around 5. So I had to go to town to make my own checks as to how the situation is security-wise and how people are going about their daily businesses. So observations I made. One, I looked at schools, if school people have gone to school today. And I also looked at the issue of shop owners opening their shops, ready for business, and also basically how the town is. So I gauge that, and I can say it's positive because people have gone to school. I said yesterday by this time, we all know what happened. I'm sure people that maybe you pick signals that on the ground. It wasn't that good. So people were asked to go home from school. Parents had gone to pick their awards from school. And today the case virtually is different because you could see that people have gone to school. Everything seems to be going on normal. The town is busy as we speak. everybody seems to be going about their daily business as usual.
Thank you very much, Prince. He is a journalist in Bembela. Let's get the point of view of the police. We'll try and get contact with the police and bring you what the police are saying regarding what is happening in Bembela. You're still watching News Desk on Joy News. Stay with us. We'll be back shortly.